Imagine this, you want a new mid-size sedan, but you don't want to blend in with all the Accords and Camrys all driving around. Up until this point, your next best option was probably something along the lines of a Ford Fusion, but with the Fusion being cut from the Ford lineup, this might very well be a great option. The 2019 Chevy Malibu, and starting at a very reasonable $22,090, the Malibu appears to be a solid option. So today we're going to review this 2019 Chevy Malibu in the RS trim, coming in at an MSRP of $25,000. But before we do that, a big thanks to Coons Chevy of Clarksville, especially Eric. If you're looking for a new Chevy, Buick, or GMC in the Maryland area, check them out on their website. It'll be in the description below. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. We are working hard to make high-quality weekly videos, and that really helps us. Okay, on to the review. All right, so we're going to start at the front and work our way around the car. You can see that they have this very nice Pacific blue metallic color. It reflects the sun very nicely. Something else to note is that Chevy recently stopped making the Cruze and the Impala, leaving the Malibu as the only sedan in their lineup. The front of the Malibu is quite angular and aggressive. It comes to this nice fine point, and it's nice how the grille is sort of split into two with this body color bar running through it, and you have your nice Chevy bow tie on that. Your headlights are honestly pretty boring. There's not much to say about them. And overall, I really like the look. The grille, it just has this aggressive line with these diagonal cuts, and the design under the fog lights with this plastic cladding is also pretty cool. The side of the Malibu is a great angle for it. When the light hits it right, you can see these two lines running along the door as a nice classy look, along with this window strip that outlines the whole window. Now, another thing I like about the side are these rims. You have this section here on the rim. It looks like it's a 5-spoke rim. It like glares in the light, and it adds some nice dimensions. Chevy always comes through with some nice rims, in my opinion, and I just like the way this rear quarter kind of folds in. You don't have a big shoulder, but you do have some body lines because it is an RS model. It is the sporty model, and overall the body lines on the side of the car are very good. Now, the rear of the Malibu is a nice contrast to the angular front of the car. It is much curvier. The whole rear slopes down very nicely, and on the RS trim, you even get a small wing. It's not functional, it's purely for looks. You do have nice dual exhaust, even though they're not real exhaust. They're nicely molded into the bumper. They aren't just plain circles, which gives it a nice, unique look. And this red RS badge is nice. It kind of matches the silver of the bow tie and the taillights here. And these taillights, I honestly think although they're simple, they're a nice look. Now, in the Malibu's trunk, you have class-leading space, and also with these things, you can unlatch the back seats, but they are not automatic. Colin, if you could push those back for me. You have to manually push them back after that. Kind of an inconvenience, but at least they latch from back here. Now the Malibu has 3 powertrain options. Your base option, which we have today, is a 1.5-liter Ecotec turbo, giving you 163 horsepower paired to a CVT. Gas mileage on this is 36 miles per gallon highway and 29 miles per gallon city. Then you can step it up and have a 2-liter turbo cranking out 250 horsepower, mated to a 9-speed transmission, and with that your fuel economy is reduced to about 32 highway and 22 city. The Malibu is also available in a hybrid version, which has a 1.8-liter engine making 182 horsepower, and your fuel economy on that will be a very good 43 highway and 49 city. Before we head into the car, I want to talk about safety packages real quick. The Malibu Premier has 3 optional driver confidence packages. Level 1 and 2 both cost about $550, with level 3 costing about $1,000. Driver confidence level 1 includes rear cross traffic alert and a lanes change alert with blind zone detection. Level 2 adds pedestrian braking, lane keep and departure warning, and forward collision alert with intelligent high beams. Level 3 will add a more advanced adaptive cruise control, automatic forward braking, automatic park assist, and an electronic e-brake. The Malibu is competing with a lot of top-notch safety pros in this category, like the Toyota Camry and Subaru Legacy, so these are especially important to point out. Okay, so we're here on the interior of the Malibu, and first I'm just going to give some general impressions before we move on to some more specific stuff. Overall, for this price point, it is a very nice interior. Now look, at $25,000, leather is, some cars will have it, some cars won't, and this one does not. However, it does make up for that lack of leather with this very nice cloth material. Well, not nice, just interesting. It's well designed. It's not plain cloth. You have sort of this diamond pattern going on, and overall I'm pleased with it. At this price point, I'm not really disappointed. You also have some nice
it's fake metal, but it does look nice, and it has this interesting shape which kind of runs around your air vents. It runs from around one air vent to another, and I think elements like that really give the interior of this car an interesting visual design. So we're here in the driving area, and we're going to talk a bit about the driver's seat here on the Malibu. You do have a power driver's seat, which is quite nice to have. Now, this is kind of weird. The thing that probably has impressed me a lot about the interior of the Malibu is the steering wheel switchgear. What are you on about? It's a weird thing to like. I don't know how to explain it other than these buttons feel very pressy without feeling clicky. Like they don't feel cheap and clicky, but they are substantial. Yeah, I'll show some B-roll, but you can't imagine how they feel, but just they feel so good when you press them. I'd be driving down the highway in this car just messing with my cruise control and stuff just because hitting this is so nice. It feels good for a $25,000 car. You do have your automatic headlights here, which is pretty nice to have. I use them all the time in my car. I think it's a great feature. The steering wheel leather feels a little cheap, to be honest. I don't know if this would age better. It doesn't feel great. It feels a little rough almost. That's how I would describe it, but you know, it's not terrible. It is a little hard. You do have some nice, it appears to be real metal accents sort of running around your steering wheel in this little triangle shape with your Chevy badge in the middle. As we're looking at your cluster, you do have a middle screen that sort of gives you some basic information. It's kind of what you expect in every car these days, along with 2 physical dials telling you your RPMs and your speed, along with dials giving you your coolant temperature and your gas. So you have your turn signal, stalk, not much to say about that. It feels good. It doesn't feel like one of the flimsy switches, like some Fords have really flimsy switches and Toyotas come to mind, but these ones feel good and substantial. Overall, no major complaints about the being in the driver's area. You can definitely take this car and it's as good as any other $25,000 car for a road trip or even a $30,000 car. So we're here in the back of the Malibu, and as you can see, I have plenty of legroom. This is where I would sit if I were driving, and I feel fine. Back here in terms of materials, we do have some more of that sort of quilted cloth around. Provides a very nice look for this price point. You do have some chrome pull tabs instead of just plastic ones, so that's kind of nice to see. You do have metal sort of on your armrest where your hand goes, a fake metal, and actually I think it complements this interior quite nicely. It acts as a good accent. One complaint I have about the back is there are no air vents back here, and there is only one sort of old cigarette style phone charger. Something else is there is no middle cup holders for me to pull down. You do have cup holders in your door, but there are no cup holders for me to pull down right here. The seats are comfortable. They're fine for sitting in the back of a car. I could be driven in here minus the lack of those amenities. That kind of bugs me, but in terms of comfort, it's good.
So we're wrapping up this review of this 25 grand Chevy Malibu RS. Overall, a really good car. This color is great. We highly recommend it. It really gleams in the sun. The overall look of the car was actually very surprising. The angular front grille was a nice touch. The body lines were great, and the back was a good look. And the interior was completely adequate at this price point, although lacking some certain amenities like chargers in the back. But overall, a great car. Please like and subscribe. We're going to have a lot more Chevy cars coming out soon.